Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Guys, I'm very excited. I received this award from YouTube for reaching 100,000 subscribers. You guys made it possible. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you so much for all the good prayers, comments, encouragement. Thank you for the love and support. God bless you all. Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you guys. I love you all. Today we'll be making this lovely dress. It's kind of shirt dress. It's timeless. You can wear it anytime. I'll be using about 4 years of African print for it. This is for the back. I folded the fabric with her biggest measurement, which is her bust measurement, because this is for the upper part of the dress. Her bust measurement is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So this is plus 1 inch for seam allowance, 11. This is 11 inches. I have enough. It's folded into 2. This is starting line. From starting line to this line is half of her round armhole, 9 inches. From starting line to this line is 16 inches, her waist measurement, her half length, half inch seam allowance to join it to the lower part. I'm going to mark her shoulder measurement. Her shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8, plus half inch seam allowance is 8.5. This is 8.5. From this shoulder measurement, I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slant. I'll mark her neck width of 3 inches and neck depth of half inch, because this is for the back. 3 inches, half inch. I'll curve it. I'll connect the shoulder slant to the neck width. Here, I'll mark the same measurement that I have here. I'll connect the line. Her bust measurement is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 10 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance, 11 inches. Her waist measurement is 34. 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. Plus 1 inch for that and 1 inch seam allowance is 10.5. Here I'll get the midpoint to connect the armhole. This is for the back. I want to mark the dart. To mark the dart, I will use half of her bust span measurement because the fabric is unfold. Her bust span measurement is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. I'll measure 4 inches. 4 inches. This is her chest line. Her chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch to mark the dart. 1 inch. Four inches. This is the waistline. I'll mark half inch on both sides. Half. I'll connect it. This is for the back. I'll use it to trim the front. This is for the front. I folded the fabric with her biggest measurement. I have extra 3.5 inches on this side for lapel. This is starting line. This line, from starting line to this line, is half of her round armhole. From starting line to this line is half length and seam allowance to join it to the lower part. So from this starting line on this center front line, I will mark 3 inches neck depth. 3 inches neck depth. This is for the back. I'll put it on this center front line. So I will remove the back, but I will notch the dart, the center line. So this is the back. I will remove it. I'm going to curve the neckline, the front neckline, 3 inches by 3 inches. So here I'll mark 3 inches. This is for the front. I'll mark the dart. From shoulder to this line is 9 inches. Her bust point is 10 inches. This is 10 inches. Front bust point 10 inches. From 10 inches, I'll go down by 1 inch for that. From shoulder to this line is 9 inches. From shoulder to this line is 10 inches. Her bust point. From shoulder to this line is 11 inches. Her bust point, I'll go down by 1 inch to mark the dart. I'll mark 4 inches, half of her bust span measurement. So I'll connect it to this notch. I have notch here. half, half. I'll connect it. So I want to connect the lapel. I'll connect it to her bust point line. From shoulder to this line is 10 inches her bust point. I'll mark 1 inch for button overlap. 1 inch. 1 inch. 1 inch. I'll connect it. This is for button overlap. Here I'll mark 2.5 inches or 3 inches. I'll use 3 inches. From this 3 inches, I'll connect it to this 1 inch button overlap. If you want, you can use this curved side or the straight side. So now I'm going to cut it. If you want, you can notch this center front line for collar, or you can come out a little bit, like 1 inch, half inch to fit the collar. This is for the front. This is for the back. This is for the front. I'll put it on top, right side together. I'll use it to cut out the facing. On this side, I'll measure 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. This is the neckline. From this neckline, I'll measure 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. I'm using the front pattern to trim the facing. So I'll remove the front pattern. This is 2.5 inches. I'll connect this 2.5 inches to this 2.5 inches. From this 2.5 inches here, I connected it to the 2.5 inches on this side. I will cut it. This is the facing. You know, if you like, you can fold fabric and put under, but because I'm trying to manage my fabric, that's why I cut one. I'll put this right side together and cut out the second one. I need 2 of this for both sides. This is for the back. I want to cut facing. I will use it to cut out the facing. From the neck width, I'll mark 2.5 inches. This side, I'll mark 3 inches. I'll cut it out. This is facing for the back. I'm going to cut the lower part of the dress. To cut the lower part of the dress, I'll minus the upper part of the dress from the full length of the dress. The full length of the dress is 40 inches. The upper part of the dress is 16 inches. From shoulder to her half length is 16 inches. 40 minus 16 is 24 inches. Plus seam allowance to hem it at the lower part and seam allowance to join it to the upper part. So I will use 1 inch, half inch to join it to the upper part and half inch to hem it. If you don't have overlocker, you can use half inch to join it to the upper part and 1 inch to hem it. 24 inches plus 1 inch is 25 inches. So the length of the lower part that I will cut will be 25 inches. So because it's circle dress, I'll work with her waist measurement to get the waist radius. Her waist measurement is 34. 34 because I'm going to cut half circle into 2. So I'll divide her waist measurement into 2. 34 divided by 2 is 17. 17 inches, I'll add 2 inches seam allowance. 17 plus 2 is 19 inches. Because I'm going to cut half circle, I will use pi to divide 19 inches. Pi is 3.14. Is formula for circle. 3.14 divided by 19 is 6 inches. 6 inches is the waist radius and 25 inches is the length for the lower part. 25 plus 6 is 31 inches. So to cut this, I'll make sure that I have on this side, I'll make sure that I have 31 inches into 2. 31 inches, 31 inches. That's 1 inches. Yeah, I have 31 inches. 31 inches, 31 inches, which is 62 inches together. So on this side, I'll make sure that I have 31 inches. But I have more than 31 inches because the fabric is by 45. Now I'm going to mark the waist radius, 6 inches. This is the folded side. I'll mark 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. I'll connect it. From 6 inches, I'll mark the length of the lower part, 25 inches. So this is waist radius, 6 inches. From this 6 inches, I measured 25 inches, the length of the lower part. From upper part here, I measured to see what I have. I have 31 inches. I measured 31 inches. This is waist radius. I'll cut it off. And this is the length of the lower part, 25 inches. This is what I have. I'll use this to cut the second one. I have 2 of these, one for the front and one for the back. So what I'll do next is to sew the dart. This is for the back. I'll hold the dart and stitch it. This is for the front. I'll stitch it. I'll do the same on this side. This is for the front. Remember to trim the front armhole. I've sewn the dart. I did the same on the back one, the dart. What I'll do next is to join the front and the back together at the shoulder line, right side together. I'll stitch it. I'll stitch it. This is the facing for the front. I have lightweight interfacing on it. I also overlock the edge. This is for the back. I have lightweight interfacing on it. I also overlock it. Now I'm going to join them together, right side together. So I've stitched them together. I press it. I also did the same on this. What I'll do next is to measure the neckline and cut out the collar. I'll hold it this way. This is the neckline. This is center front line. If you want, you can notch this point. Your collar will start from this center front line. Or you will come out a little bit, like half inch, 1 inch. I'll use 1 inch from this center front line. I'll mark 1 inch. Or from this side, I'll mark 2 inches. I will notch it. I will measure from this notch to the other notch, or you can measure it this way. From this notch I have 9.75. $19 and a half. I'm going to cut the collar. I'll fold it into 2. 19 and a half divided by 2 is 9.75. So I'll measure 9.75 plus half inch seam allowance, 10.25. I'll measure 10.25. So I'll mark 4 inches. Four inches. 4 inches. I'll connect it. I have 10.25. 4 inches. Here I'll go up by 1 inch. I'll slant it. So I'll cut it. So this is the collar. This is the collar. If you want, you can use it this way, or you can mark half inch and slant it this way to curve it. I'll mark half inch. So this is the collar. I'll use it to cut out another collar. I have 2 of these. I put it on top of fabric, right side together, and cut out the second one. I have interfacing on it, only on this one. No interfacing on this. So I'm going to stitch it together, right side together. I will stitch it together. After that, I will notch and turn it to the right side and give it a good press. This is the collar. I've pressed it. I notch the midpoint. I'll stitch it to the dress. I'll hold it this way and notch the midpoint at the back. So I'm going to stitch it. This is the right side of the fabric. Right side of the fabric. I'll pin it to this notch. The one with interfacing is on top. I'll pin this point to the notch here, 2 inches. Notch 2 inches. I'll stitch it to the neckline. I've stitched the collar. I'll put it this way. What I'll do next is to stitch the facing to the dress. You hold it this way and notch the midpoint. I have a notch here. I'll put it this way, right side together. This is right side. The collar will be like this. I'll put it this way. I'll match the notch, midpoint. I'll pin it. I will stitch it using 0.25, quarter of an inch. I'll also stitch this side. .25. I've stitched the facing to the dress. After that, I notch and turn it to the right side and give it a good press. What I'll do next is to stitch the front together, the button overlap. So I'll put it this way. This is the right side of the dress. I'll put it this way. I'll pin this side. I'll repeat the same on this side. So I'll pin this part because this part will overlap. So what I'll do, I'll go and stitch this just to hold it. After that, I will now stitch the lower part. This is the lower part. I'll put it this way, right side together, and stitch it. I'll do the same on this. I'll stitch this part. After that, I'll put it this way, right side together, and stitch it. I've stitched the lower and the upper part together. Waistline. What I'll do next is to stitch the two sides. I'll put it this way, right side together. This is the left side of the dress. Right side together. From armhole, I came down by 1.5 inches. This is 1.5 inches. The zip will start from this 1.5 inches. From waistline, this is 7 inches. the zip will start from this 1.5 inches to this point. So I will stitch from here. I will stitch it using 1 inch seam allowance to the end. I'll fix the zip. After fixing the zip, I will now stitch this part. I'll stitch this side to the end using 1 inch seam allowance from armhole to the end. I've stitched the two sides. This is the left side of the dress. I fix invisible zip. What I'll do next is to fix the button and buttonhole. The buttonhole will be on this side and button will be on this side. The first button will be on the bust point. You will fix 3 buttons. After that, I'll fix basic sleeve, overlock the dress, hem the lower part and give it a good press. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.